没信号，都没信号，我们也没有信号。你命大啊，兄弟啊，这个危险了，只能要等消防来了。没信号，都没信號啊！啊，唔係會有報噶，唔得。
石頭大啊，電話弄不打了啊，沒那弄誰啊，你嘞，原來注意愛通知愛嘞。
Này có mà, chắc quát nè, chắc lên lăng, gà bọn chắc lên lăng.
别走了，别走了，退回去，退回去。没信号，都没信号，我们也没有信号。你命大啊，兄弟啊，这个危险了，只能要等消防来了。没信號，都沒信號啊！啊，唔係會有報噶，唔得。那有個小車啊，那邊有2個小車啊。不要往這邊走了，往那邊走，這邊就裂開了，退開，快點！
Since few days ago, Guangdong province has been battered by relentless rainfall from typhoon and monsoon storms, causing severe flooding and widespread infrastructure damage in Zhaoqing, Yangjiang, Maoming, and surrounding areas. In Zhaoqing's Huaiji County, the National Weather Station recorded 472 millimeters of cumulative rainfall, with northern Huaiji and southern Lianshan in Qingyuan hit by extreme downpours in the past 24 hours. The Suijiang River, flowing through Huaiji, Guangning, and Sihui, has surged with 3 flood peaks in 3 days, each higher than the last. By 9 p.m. on June 17, 2025, the water level in Huaiji reached 53 meters, less than 1 meter below the historical record.
Beijing 时间16点18分，水位已经涨到52.9了。持续关注我，我会直播给你们看啊！持续关注，谢谢。
The Guangdong Hydrological Bureau issued a red flood warning for the Suijiang's Huaiji section, with forecasts suggesting water levels may meet or exceed the all-time high on June 18th. Residents in Huaiji are urgently advised to avoid low-lying areas and follow evacuation orders, while downstream areas in Guangning and Sihui prepare for potential flooding. Infrastructure across the region has suffered immense damage. In Huaiji, floodwaters have turned streets into torrents, submerging vehicles and rendering roads impassable. Reports describe the area as a water town, with cars stranded or swept away by fast-moving floods, particularly in low-lying urban and rural zones.
"漂浮的垃圾桶，不是经常见面的。但是看不到车牌的车。
Homes and buildings face severe inundation, with floodwaters likely reaching ground floors or higher in low-lying neighborhoods, forcing residents to seek refuge on rooftops or upper levels. Power outages and loss of communication signals have isolated communities, with flooded electrical systems likely contributing to the disruptions. The saturated soils in Zhaoqing's hilly areas have triggered landslides, further threatening homes and infrastructure by burying or destabilizing structures. In Yangjiang, where urban areas recorded 250 to 400 millimeters of rain and coastal slopes exceeded 500 millimeters in 24 hours, urban waterlogging has paralyzed infrastructure. Jiangqing and Yangdong districts report roads submerged, with vehicles soaked and mobility halted. At Yangdong's Jinda Experimental School, floodwaters trapped individuals, requiring rescues by firefighters and locals, with parked cars and school facilities likely damaged. Residential and commercial buildings in low-lying areas are inundated, with floodwaters entering ground floors and disrupting daily life. Dams releasing water to manage reservoir levels have worsened river overflows, damaging roads and bridges. The Pearl River Delta's low-lying geography amplifies these impacts, making cities like Zhaoqing and Yangjiang especially vulnerable to flooding. The extreme rainfall, with short-term intensity overwhelming drainage systems, has heightened risks of flash floods and geological disasters. Schools in Zhaoqing, Yangjiang, Zhuhai, Zhongshan, and Maoming have suspended classes due to red rainstorm warnings, with facilities potentially compromised by water intrusion. Economic losses are significant, driven by damage to vehicles, homes, and public infrastructure like roads and power systems. Residents are urged to stay vigilant, avoid driving or parking in flood-prone areas, and monitor official warnings. Emergency evacuations are underway, and communities downstream of the Suijiang are preparing for worsening conditions. From June 20th to the morning of June 21st, a powerful weather system driven by an upper-level trough and shear line unleashed widespread heavy rain across Guangxi. The worst-hit areas include Baisir, Hechi, and Liuzhou, where heavy to torrential rain caused sudden flooding that overwhelmed urban infrastructure and natural river systems.
Và dân 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 trang đã xoay lại ngày bảo xoay là yo xoay chờ là yo chi trả cả 走咪走得過。
In Baisur City's Yujiang district, intense rain quickly led to serious urban flooding. Streets were submerged and many road sections became impassable. Vehicles stalled or floated in the rising waters and residents were forced to wade through waist-deep floods. The most severe rainfall was recorded at Pinglin Reservoir in Sikhen Town, Linyun County, with an astonishing 238 millimeters falling within just 24 hours. Across the wider Guangxi region, the prolonged and intense downpour caused rivers to rise rapidly and floodwaters to spread. In Hechi, residential areas and main roads were inundated. In one dramatic case, a minibus broke down in deep floodwater. Passengers were trapped inside with no way to escape. Firefighters raced to the scene and waded through turbulent water to carry out a high-risk rescue. All passengers were eventually evacuated safely. In Jinchengjiang district of Hechi, heavy rain flooded a special education school and large trees were toppled on Huiwen Road, crushing parked vehicles. Meanwhile, in Liuzhou, low-lying neighborhoods were flooded and traffic was brought to a standstill. Many residents described the sudden storm as the worst they had seen in years. Shops were closed, schools suspended classes, and daily life came to a halt.
现在是6月21号的早上6点半了，跟大家报道一下石门的这个溺水河的水位情况。
As the rain kept falling, authorities began sounding the alarm over the state of many reservoirs and dams across the region. Due to the huge volume of rainfall, water levels rose at dangerous rate. According to emergency reports, many dams are now critically full and on the verge of structural failure. To avoid collapse, several reservoirs have been forced to discharge water immediately without prior notice, sending surges downstream and increasing the flood risk in already inundated cities and villages.
水位要去蚊腰。 好危险哦！刚好这2天考试啊。
Hydrological monitoring showed that rivers such as the Long Storm alert. Officials are warning the public to prepare for further emergencies including flash floods, landslides, and riverbank collapses. Emergency teams have been dispatched across the region to assist in disaster response and monitor high-risk dams and reservoirs. This disaster in Guangxi is not just about one night of torrential rain. It exposes a far more alarming reality. The combination of relentless rainfall, rising rivers, fragile infrastructure, and overburdened dams is creating a cascading chain reaction of flooding across southern China. Cities like Baisur, Hechi, and Liuzhou are now on the front lines of a flood crisis that is far from over. With more rain expected in the days ahead, the pressure on reservoirs and embankments continues to grow. Several dams have already reached or exceeded capacity. Any additional rainfall could push them past the breaking point, unleashing catastrophic surges of water that would devastate downstream communities. The decision to discharge water may save dams from collapsing, but it also floods towns with little time for warning or evacuation. This situation highlights the fragile balance between infrastructure and nature, and how quickly that balance can tip into chaos. For many residents, this is becoming a nightmare without an end. Roads have turned into rivers, schools into shelters, homes into islands. Entire communities are holding their breath, watching water levels inch higher, wondering what will come next. On the evening of June 23, 2025, at 6:49 p.m., a magnitude 4.3 earthquake struck Qingyuan City in Guangdong Province.
人喺度啊啦，滅晒啊啦，幾棟樓滅晒啊！你睇下。
The quake occurred at a depth of approximately 10 kilometers.
辛苦了大家了。楼顶都贴在一起了。
Although the epicenter was located in Qingyuan, its shallow depth and proximity to densely populated areas resulted in widespread shaking across the Pearl River Delta. Residents in Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Foshan, Dongguan, and Zhuhai all reported feeling the tremor clearly. In Guangzhou, the earthquake startled many residents, particularly those living in high-rise buildings.
地震了！地震了！不要怕，我会招待你们。我操！现在。
In Tianhe, Yuexiu, and Baiyun districts, numerous people described the sensation of their buildings swaying for several seconds. Lights flickered, water in aquariums spilled over, and hanging objects began to sway noticeably. Within minutes, social media platforms were flooded with videos capturing the quake's effects, showing everything from swinging ceiling lamps to residents rushing out of buildings in fear.
地震了，孩子们都跑出来了。干嘛？
干嘛干嘛？
One of the most alarming incidents occurred in Huadu district, where residents of the Shuiyu Lanting residential complex posted videos online claiming that one of the buildings appeared to be leaning after the tremor. The footage quickly went viral and attracted widespread attention. Large groups of residents could be seen gathering in open areas, choosing to stay outside rather than risk remaining indoors.
我操！我靠！怎么回事？
Local authorities were notified, and emergency personnel were sent to the scene to investigate the structural integrity of the building. The event left many residents shaken and reluctant to return home until official safety assessments were completed. Despite being about 150 kilometers from the epicenter, residents in Shenzhen also felt the quake strongly. Many office workers described their monitors shaking and walls trembling slightly. Families at home reported hearing windows rattle and objects clink together, triggering brief moments of panic in neighborhoods unaccustomed to seismic activity. In Qingyuan, closer to the source of the quake, the shaking was more intense. Some road surfaces developed cracks, and minor damage was reported to walls and ceilings in a few locations. Fortunately, no casualties or serious injuries have been reported so far. Emergency response teams were dispatched quickly to inspect key infrastructure, including schools, hospitals, highways, and residential buildings, ensuring no major safety risks remained.
真啊！哇，地震啊！哇哇哇！哇，真係地震啊！地震啊！哇！哎呦，地震啊！地震啊！好似啊！
According to the China Earthquake Network Center, the earthquake was classified as a shallow crustal event. Shallow earthquakes, even at moderate magnitudes, can produce stronger surface shaking than deeper ones, especially in urbanized areas. Experts explained that while Guangdong is not located in a high-risk seismic zone, small earthquakes do occur occasionally due to the complex tectonic environment of southern China. The sudden nature of the quake, combined with its broad impact across multiple cities, triggered a wave of anxiety and emergency drills. In several areas, schools and residential compounds briefly activated evacuation protocols. Some people took the opportunity to review safety tips and earthquake survival practices, while others admitted they had never imagined experiencing such an event in Guangdong. Geological teams continue to monitor the region for any additional seismic activity. Meanwhile, local governments have advised residents to prepare emergency kits, avoid crowded stairwells, and remain calm should another tremor occur. This unexpected earthquake served as a stark reminder that even regions considered low risk are not immune to natural forces. The experience has left a strong impression on millions of people across southern China.
June 23, 2025, China plunged once again into a nationwide flood crisis. This time, both the Yangtze River and the Yellow River, the twin cradles of Chinese civilization, saw simultaneous water level failures. Extreme rainfall combined with continuous dam discharges triggered widespread flash floods and urban inundations along the middle and lower reaches, marking a rare moment of dual basin emergency. In cities like Yichang, Hubei, and Zhejiang, Jiangxi, the Yangtze River rose for 3 straight days, exceeding the warning level by 1.7 meters by early morning. Meanwhile, torrential rain pounded the upper Yellow River in Lanzhou, Linxia, and Baiyin, causing rapid water level surges. Midstream reservoirs began emergency discharge. In many counties, people woke up in horror to find floodwaters already inside their homes.
Rồi con kia sợ ta sẽ sao lo, sẽ mắt nó màu nè. Nó màu nó kết à. Nó màu nó kết kỹ đó nó màu cao. Mày lịch Trung Quốc sáng.
In Wuhan, the drainage system collapsed under the deluge. Some underpasses on the city's third ring road were submerged more than 1.5 meters. Hundreds of cars became trapped under overpasses, creating a vehicle graveyard. Subway Line 3 was forced to shut down. Tens of thousands waded through brown, debris-filled waters, many calling it the worst storm we've ever experienced. Further north, the Yellow River Basin in Zhengzhou and Luoyang saw simultaneous